Hi, Acuity. It's Melissa Powell here in Clarkston, Georgia. So it's just a town outside of Atlanta, and in 1.1 square miles, there are individuals from over 50 countries and speak over 60 languages. And the heart of it all is Refuge Coffee. Amazing place to give employment, competitive wages, training, mentorship to refugees or immigrants right here in Georgia. Here is also a great meeting place for the community to make new friends or meet up with old ones. And Refuge Coffee is amazing for this community. So thank you, Refuge, for everything you do to Clarkston. And thank you, Acuity, for supporting Refuge. Refuge is definitely more than just a cup of coffee.
Hi, Acuity. It is such a blessing to work with Refuge Coffee, a company whose mission is to serve, and the cherry on the top is their amazing coffee. If you're here at AcuityCon, go check out my favorite, the white chocolate latte.
Hi, I'm Joy, the dedicated bookkeeper for Synergy's work. I'm happy to be part of this AcuityCares program, and I find it truly gratifying and inspiring to work with a client like Synergy's work, which empowers entrepreneurs with disabilities and is committed to build a more inclusive society. RT, the founder of Synergy's work, is a wonderful and collaborative individual, which makes working with them even more inspiring, together of course with my supportive controller partner Leia.
Hi everyone, I'm Leia Solomon, the controller for Synergy's work. Synergy's work is a platform that connects disabled entrepreneurs with the resources, networks, and communities they need to launch, scale, and grow their businesses. Synergy's work believes in always being person-centered and leading with respect and patience. They firmly believe that everyone has a gift or a talent to offer the world. It can be a gift of hand, a gift of heart, and/or a gift of head. This is coming straight from their website. I couldn't have said it better myself, so I didn't even try. I find their vision, values, and goals so inspirational, so beautifully expressed. I'm so proud to be even a small part of Synergy's work. Artie has been amazing to work with. She has been helpful, informative, and just an overall wonderful person. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you to Acuity for allowing me to be a part of the AcuityCares program. I love being able to give back, even in a small way, to companies like Synergy's work who are truly changing the world we live in. It's been awesome to work with my Acuity team as well, William and Joy. So thank everybody for everything that you do.
Hi, Team Acuity. I have the pleasure of working with Codehouse. The Codehouse initiative builds a stronger pipeline between students of color and industry-leading companies. Codehouse tackles the diversity gap in technology by providing mentorship, exposure, and resources to enhance students' technical skills while also promoting job placement and cultivating future leaders in the industry. They do this through programs such as Codehouse Scholars, Codehouse Community, and Tech Exposure Day. They have raised over $2 million of scholarships, and I got to witness Tech Exposure Day in 2023 and was truly inspired by the energy exhibited by the young professional leaders speaking to middle school and high school students. Thank you, Codehouse, for all that you do.
Congratulations on being named our 2024 Community Champion of the Year from our Zero Partner Awards.
We know becoming a certified B Corp was a big endeavor, but I know it better helps serve your nonprofit clients in the AcuityCares program.
Congratulations again.
Enjoy the rest of AcuityCon.
All right, awesome. Thanks you all so much, and thanks for giving. I know we almost need to bring, like we keep saying, Kleenex up on stage because we're saying such wonderful things about our clients. But I can't wait to introduce you. I'll have all these amazing founders and co-founders coming up. But yeah, Kitty, JC, and Artie, come on up and give them a big hand while they're coming up, y'all. We have mics up here and everything for you. So yeah, you're good right there, JC. Come on up. Oh my gosh. This to me is, and there's some steps over here, but just come on and fill in wherever. Yep, don't worry. Buddy's waiting on you over there. No, y'all are fine. Yeah, Buddy's gonna, yeah. Well, come on over here, JC, you're good. Hi, everyone. Hey, y'all. And all the folks watching from home and virtual places again. Thank you all for being here. Again, this is, for me, and you saw the video earlier of my favorite moments at AcuityCon, and it's always with our AcuityCares clients where we get to see this amazing impact. So just a great to welcome them, these amazing founders up on stage. They're bonding as well here too. But I think, I guess I'll kick it off with, it's a perfect way to welcome them, but also I think for us to go take welcome out in the world. Whenever I think of the word welcome, I'm going to point it to you first, Kitty. If you do a quick introduction, I think of this woman, Kitty Murray, who you're all about welcome. But welcome, Kitty. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us how Refuge Coffee got started.
Now I'm on. Yay. Melissa, where are you? You made me cry.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man, I don't know that I can speak now. So, Refuge Coffee, how it was started. I was just thinking about this today because another question was about the problems that we've addressed, and I realized that let me just give you a quick background. My husband and I moved to Clarkston, and Melissa already gave you a really great picture of what Clarkston is and who it is. We moved there 12 years ago, and he's a lot wiser than me, and he said, let's just get to know our neighbors. And I said, no, there's so many things we could do here. Let's just jump in, because I'm a jump in kind of girl. And yet he was wise. And so Refuge was really founded on like neighborhood relationships. That's how it started. We got to know people from all these different countries. And the thing about refugees that I don't think I really knew, and I can generalize here because I think it's safe to do so, that refugees are some of the most resilient, heroic people in the world. They have the odds that they've already beaten to even get here are pretty stunning. And so we'd been in Clarkston about a year when several things happened. First, we fell in love with our neighbors. And I know in the nonprofit world, we talk about asset-based development. Well, refugees are assets to our communities, and we saw that right off the bat. So that happened, and I'm a natural networker. So I wanted my old world to meet my new world, and I couldn't have people over to my house fast enough to do it. So the idea of a coffee shop where we could just bring the worlds together and create a really safe, welcoming space for everybody, not just refugees, but everyone. So that was planted. The other thing is that as we got to know our neighbors, this is a problem in our community that wasn't created by the refugee community, but there just weren't great jobs. So refugees were getting the number one jobs refugees are offered are chicken processing plant jobs. They're not the worst in the world, but they're an hour and a half away. So there's a long commute. It's just not a job for flourishing. And so the idea that what if we had a coffee shop and what if we could provide some jobs? And what if we could do that in such a way that would be a benefit to the whole community? So we started 10 years ago this coming May. And since then, we now have 4 shops. We've employed over 55 people from 18 different countries. So we've been able to just do what we do. And we've boiled it down to one word. It really is all about welcome. And we don't just welcome our refugee neighbors welcome the world with us.
Love that, Kitty. Yeah, and I think y'all probably saw that. They've been a big part of Acuity for a while in the program. You probably, if you hit some of the coffee shops and seen friendly faces out there like Leon and Kyle who are here, we are just so grateful for that message of welcome that you bring, Kitty. So thank you again for being here again. If you remember last year, Kitty was trying to be here last year, and we were sent you well wishes and things too. And then this year she just had a hip replaced, but like she's bounced back like this. She's just, nothing can hold you back, Kitty.
This hiking pole is not a cane. It's a hiking pole. It's just for show. Just so people know not to knock me over. But yeah.
There you go. She's too rich. Can't knock Kitty Murray.
I really couldn't wait to be here today.
Oh, awesome. Well, okay. Next in our lineup, I want to introduce JC. In terms of also, I think a couple years with us now in our AcuityCares program. But yeah, Introduce yourself, JC. Tell us about you and how you got started with Code House.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Woo!
Oh, I know you can be louder than that. How y'all doing today?
Yeah.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is JC Holmes. I am currently a professor at Spelman College. It's an HBCU right down the road. It's also where I went to undergrad. I'm also the co-founder of Code House, a 501c3 nonprofit that prepares students of color for the tech industry. This is an organization that I founded alongside my brother, Ernest Holmes, and my very good friend, Tavis Thompson. And the reason we started Code House is because when we all graduated from our respective HBCUs, those two went to Morehouse, I went to Spelman, we all entered the tech industry. And when we entered the tech industry, we noticed that there was a lack of diversity. We absolutely loved our experiences at our respective tech companies, but we didn't see many faces who looked like ours. And we wanted to change that. And so that's why we started Code House, to give the next generation of students a chance to enter the wonderful tech industry. Since we got started, we have had over 117 scholars in our Code House Scholars Initiative. Each student got a $20,000 scholarship. They got a pre-college summer program that prepared them with the right CS fundamentals. And then they also got a mentoring program where they got an industry mentor and a collegiate mentor, someone that they could go to whenever they were having trouble in their academic process or applying to internships, someone that could be a friend, someone that could be a mentor to them to get them through their academic matriculation. Our first cohort of scholars are currently graduating seniors, which is so incredibly exciting. They're getting offers to grad school, they're getting offers to different tech companies. And this is why we started Code House. We wanted to see a change in the tech industry, and we're finally starting to see a little bit of it.
It's amazing. That is amazing. And we'll maybe get to this a little bit later too, but also I love doing this like with family involved. I mean, there's a few folks here who've got some family involved in these initiatives. So we'll maybe hear more about that later, how that always works out working with siblings and things like that. But speaking of that, I'll have already introduced yourself, who I want you to tell the story, but I know there's definitely some family involvement in this origin story too. So Artie, tell us about you and Synergy's works.
Hey everyone, my name is Arti, and thank you for inviting me. I'm the newest member of the AcuityCares,
Yes,
probably the youngest also, sorry. I'll take it. But no one here dare do the math. I know you're all from finance, but don't do the math when I tell you the ages of my children. So I have two sons, and my youngest son has Down syndrome, and I never thought that I'll ever do anything on my own. My life changed when my younger son was born. From advertising and marketing, I moved to being part of the disability community. And I kind of realized that there are two worlds that coexist, one for people with disabilities and one without. And my job since then has been, how do I make the gap between these two worlds non-existent? So that in a nutshell is the purpose of Synergy's work. And that's why the name, which is not very creative, sitting at the, wanting to register my nonprofit, that's the only name that came to my mind. I started this 6 years ago because my oldest son, who runs a startup, a fintech company, when he did his first startup straight out of college, he left his banking job. It made me realize that, is there a place for my younger one, Angad, to go in? Where would he go when he had to set up his own business? So in all naivety, I went to the Atlanta startup community, attended a lot of VC pitch competitions, thinking I'll catch the right people there and pitch my idea of partnering. And I was told that I don't belong there. And if it was nothing else except pig-headedness, obstinacy, whatever, and I can think of more dramatic ways of telling them that I'll show them that it is going to happen. And that's how Synergy's work happened. We have supported more than 400 entrepreneurs now across the country. We want to shatter the narratives around disability. We want to show the world that disability is it's something to celebrate, you know. People who have gone through our programs now work with us. And as I was listening to you, JC, I need to talk to you. Absolutely. So that's in a nutshell, what my story is. And, the welcome note did not include the amazing, amazing Julia William, who we have already recruited as a volunteer for Synergy's work. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you all for being here. Oh my gosh, I love hearing all these, and I love the fact that y'all are building lasting connections. It's always our theme here at AcuityCon, and so we want even our clients and partners to do that as well too.
I have to say that I worked in Clarkston City for many years with the DD Council, the Georgia Council on Developmental Disabilities. It is an amazing space. It was just before it became fashionable, Clarkston City. That's the time when I was working on real communities, before youth came in. And I left.
Did I make it fashionable?
Of course you did.
Are you kidding?
Of course you
How could you not? How could you not? And Artie, I just want something you mentioned that I think I learned from you or from y'all's team is technically, I think I heard that people with disabilities, are technically the world's largest minority group? Is that, or how is that correct? Is that how that's defined? Is that?
It is. 1 in 4 persons self-identifies as disability. And that self-identification is by the US Census. That's what they connect. And there are many communities and there are many people who do not want to be identified as people with disabilities. Technically, we are talking about 1.3 billion people globally. And yet, in our conversations, we do not think of them as including them in our workforce, in our economic conversations. We think of them as charity, something that I can do for them, not what they can do for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the benefit, there's so many benefits to having these great clients and partners of ours here is oftentimes you've shared some of the narrative in general about what you're doing, but to hear some of the stories about impact and in places to where the work that their amazing organizations have had impact, and maybe it's nice knowing that just us being connected, that maybe we played some role in that. So I'd love to open it up and just maybe go to, is there a story of impact through each of your organizations that you want to share, just that we can hear about and kind of feel more connected to what you all are doing? Who wants to take that one first? I see Kitty kind of looking.
Well, I don't know about you, but I could just talk all day to answer that question.
Well, if you go too long,
I will pick one. I'll pick one. And Artie, I also want to say, I have a sister who's disabled. And so this just makes my heart so happy to...
I haven't been in a room where I haven't met somebody.
Yeah, that's so true. That is that. Yeah. Okay. So I need to weave in the value of Acuity here because a couple of years ago, we went through something that almost took our organization down, a financial thing. That's what I should just leave it at, right? A financial thing. And Melissa, we met almost every day for a while. They got us right. And today, I would say I know where every penny is. Like, I'm serious, every penny. It's just an amazing thing. And then there are other people in our organization who have way more agency around our finances. So that has been helpful. I had been on a sabbatical. My husband was really sick at the time. He passed away not long after all of this. But in the middle of all this, one of our employees, and because this isn't going to be out there on the internet anywhere, is it? Like, it's internal.
Well, it is streaming to our other team members.
Right. That's different. Yeah. I think I'm okay. I just won't use names.
Yeah, we
had an employee from Central African Republic who was so dear. When she came here, she came with her 3 children. She had lost her husband and her children. I mean, not her children, and her parents in Central African Republic. Got here really, and an issue with a lot of refugees is just interrupted education. And so her education was incredibly limited. So working with us gave her so many tools in her life, and her children were delightful. And then the week that I came back from sabbatical and we discovered the thing that happened that we were desperately trying to fix with lots of help, her 10-year-old daughter drowned. in one of the apartments. The whole situation was a horrible negligence on the part of the apartment community. It was just such a mess. And our team went and just surrounded her. And our manager in Clarkston is Frey Teklu. Frey and I went and just laid on the floor in her apartment. Thankfully, I got there right as Defects was getting there. So it was wonderful to be able to say, no, this is such a good mom. Like, this is not what you think it is. Like, this is not neglect in any way. But we laid on the floor, and I remember Frey looked up at some of the other women from Central African Republic and said, what is your culture about grief? Tell us how to serve her. And it was such an educational moment for me because, I immediately wanted to do things for her, and we did a lot. And then she had a lot of time off. We were able to just give her as much bereavement time as she needed, which came back around for me a year later, and I was able to do that. But she, the manager in Clarkston would sit next to her so she could work. Like, we've been able to be generous with our barista trainees, and Acuity's really helped us with that. But then one of our board members is an attorney from Ethiopia. He ended up taking her case. She just bought a house in Clarkston 2 doors down from me. Her other 2 kids, who are just delightful young man and woman, like still in high school, are now my neighbors. And they live in a house that's just wonderful because she got a settlement from the apartments due to the hard work that one of our board members did. So I just think she doesn't work for us anymore because she went through our program and then got another job. But, she would have fallen through the cracks. A year later, as a child the same age from Myanmar died in the same pool with the same situation. And so our board members stepped in. They didn't really have much of a community. We knew what it was like. We were able to step in that situation. So I do think, like, the refugee crisis is a crisis worldwide. Clarkston most people are not in crisis mode. It's just they're ready to make a life and feel welcomed and become a part of our country. And so we're a part of that next stepping zone. But in the midst of that, crises happen. And I love that we have this team that just loves to step in and love people well. So it was a long story.
No, Kitty, that's perfect. That's such a great story, I think, because, sometimes, and many of our stories will be about the direct impact we have, whether it's through, hey, we trained someone with new job skills, or they met a new friend or a neighbor at Refuge Coffee, versus sometimes those stories go much deeper, right? And those connections go much deeper into places that we could never imagine like this, or I hope we never have to imagine in some regards too. So that's a deep one, Kitty, and I know that you always bring that, but thank you for sharing at that level, that I know you played a huge part in obviously helping her through that challenge. So Fred. Well,
and she showed up for me. When my husband died, she was one of the first people at my house. And just, this is never, ever just a one-way street, ever.
I mean, gosh, who wants to follow that with a story, right? Like, I know that's that's tough. But I mean, I would love to hear some, other stories of impact that y'all are seeing. I mean, JC, would you love to, I'd love to hear about this with Codehouse.
I want to first, but thank you for sharing your story. My fiance's parents are both refugees from the Vietnam War, and my mother is an immigrant from Panama. So the fact that you're giving everyone a taste of the American dream is just so beautiful. Thank you for the work that you're doing. At Codehouse, I think I'll start by sharing how Acuity has impacted Codehouse. I told you that I started the organization with my brother and our very good friend. But I didn't tell you how it started. It started as a one-day event that we did when my brother was still in college. I had just started my position at Microsoft, and we did a fun day event for middle school and high school students called Tech Exposure Day. We had 150 students from the Atlanta area come to Morehouse College to learn about opportunities in tech. We had a bunch of different tech companies there. We gave them food. We had college students talk about the importance of going to college. And it was such a fun day that at the end of the event that we thought was going to be a one-time thing, these tech companies came to us and said, great, when's the next one? And we said, next one. We thought this was going to be a one-day event, but then we did it again for 400 students. We recently did it again at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for 3,500 students. And the company, the organization kept growing. And we realized that there was this deep need to have further impact with these students. Many students going to minority-serving institutions, they're Pell Grant recipients or they're first-time college students, and they need a lot of support to make it through the academic system. And so we started to work on things like the Code House Scholars Initiative. We started providing scholarships where we could. We created the Code House community members to get these students in a community that was there to support them full time. We touch about 500 students annually now, 3,500 students at our Tech Exposure Day events. But we were quickly fundraising and quickly trying to figure out how we were going to distribute these funds. Thankfully, my mother, Flora Holmes, she was an auditor for the state of Texas for, oh my gosh, the better part of 30 years up in New York. We grew up in Jersey. And so she had a good background and a good foundation in accounting. But the thing about Code House is that nobody does this full time. My brother is a full-time product manager over at Google. Our co-founder Tavis works at Zillow. I'm a professor at Spelman College now. We all do this part-time because we love what it is that we do, and that includes my mother. So the fact that Elise could come in, and Elise, I don't know if you're in the room right now or if you're virtual, but think, oh, hi, Elise, hi. My mother says hello, but the fact that you were able to come in and help us and support us truly changed things for Code House, right? Having that additional support, having Acuity on our team has meant the world to us. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And it helped us not only make sure that our counting is correct, that the scholarships are being distributed correctly, but it's also helping us plan for the future. We want to eventually hire a full-time executive director so that we can continue to expand our reach. But we also want to figure out ways in which we can sustain our fundraising efforts. And so that is the work that Elise has been providing for us. So thank you again for everything that you're doing. And that enables us to impact our students. Like I said, our first graduating cohort, they're getting their first opportunities. They're getting into grad school. They're getting into these amazing companies. And for many of these students, they didn't think that this was possible for them. As an educator, I see so many students that just don't think computer science is a space for them. They don't think that they're able to get these positions at technology industries or at these companies. The world of corporate America can be so foreign to some of my students. And the biggest thing, most impactful thing that I think I do as an educator is show them that they are more than capable, that there is a space for them. I think the most impactful thing that we're doing at Code House is showing them that they have the confidence to excel and succeed. And I think that's the best thing that anyone can do for someone else is give them confidence.
Yeah, that just gives me confidence hearing that. I mean, oh my gosh, I love it. That was awesome. Thank you, JC. All right, Artie, give us a good story. I know you probably got 1 or 100 or, many of them, but no, I love, by the way, too, you should all make sure y'all go to the websites. There's lots of good stories on the website. I was looking at one earlier on yours, but one of the recent ones I saw the 2 sisters who did the dating app.
Jacqueline and
yeah, that was really cool. It's a cool video about that. They were on.
If anybody is thinking of dating.
Yeah, that's right.
She's set up.
Anyway, that was one example I thought was very cool. I saw them featured on a very prominent news program. Anyway, I can't remember they were, but
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead. Tell us more about some stories of impact.
As Kitty was saying, I can go on and tell you stories. That's my job, to tell stories only. Let me share a story about this young man who lives in California. He is now 22 years old. His name is Trevor Dealey. As you know, many people with disabilities, when they graduate from school, there is no future for them. They are taught that they will, we say that we have a lot of support systems, a lot of public support systems to get them jobs. But honestly, there are 3 kinds of jobs that people with disabilities have traditionally been put into, and they're called the 3 Fs: flowers, food, and filth. They are only used, I don't want to use the word used, but they're only employed there, and it's an entry-level job, which they go in and they probably continue to work in those kind of jobs their entire life. We talk a lot of statistics of people with disabilities who are really good employees. They do show up every day. They don't want to take leave. They're honest. They're hardworking. It's not that people with disabilities have another gene when they become employees. It's just that it's so difficult for them to get a job that when they get a job, they don't want to leave it. So this was the case for Trevor. He is a person with autism, with significant disabilities. The mom decided that she did not want what the school or these other people were foreseeing for her son. So at one day at a dinner table, as I'm told, they decided that they will make soaps. So they set up a business of making organic soaps. They joined Synergy's work around 2021. In January, she sent me a little note saying that they have surpassed revenue of 50,000. They have a following of, 1.5 on TikTok and on Instagram. And it's not a great thing to say, but it is a badge that whenever they open up their shop virtually, they are sold out in 15 days, so they have to shut their shop. And they've just come back and rejoined our accelerator program to grow and scale their business. So Trevor now is leading employment videos, creating employment videos so that he can inspire other folks to set up their businesses. So I love what we call the soft bigotry of low expectations. If we change that, the world is the oyster. I shared something about my son, that my son has Down syndrome. And what I didn't tell you was that when he was born, we're from India, so talk about intersectionality. I am an immigrant into this country, came here 20 years back. My father was a refugee from Pakistan to India, so I know what a refugee mindset is. And our purposes are so aligned here. We are all wanting to inspire confidence and raise the bar for folks because people don't believe in the people that we kind of work with. And we were told that Angad would not be talking, would not be walking. We should be prepared for institutionalization. We came to the United States. My husband got transferred with Coca-Cola, came here, privileged. I think we were really privileged to have that. But I realized very fast, 20 years ago and I say it openly, in Georgia, as a brown woman going to a school and talking about inclusion, I was like, we'll tell you what inclusion is. And so I learned the gap, the two worlds that exist between the law and what happens in the reality. And very soon we were told that he is not going to read and write. But today he is a senior at Georgia State University. He is a black belt in karate. Yay, I know. He makes me proud. Both of them do. And just in case the older one is listening. We have to be. Absolutely. No, the both of them are good. And he runs two businesses. So he runs a tea business, online tea business. And he also runs a tech business called Let Me Do It. He was the first person with Down syndrome to get to Techstars. He is the first person with Down syndrome who won an award at the Georgia State University Mainstream. And he's today going for investor meetings to raise funds. So there is no stopping. The vision should be right there. And we can reach it for every person.
Whew. Okay, I definitely needed to bring the Kleenexes up here. This is like the vision that y'all have and the purpose and the intent is just incredible. It was why it's so wonderful for us to partner with these folks. I guess the thing that we know that we help bring, obviously, is the accounting and financial side. And I know sometimes I've felt like, what are my skills? Oh, I can do some accounting, right? It doesn't feel like it's when you think about the impact. Sometimes when you see them making, you're like, it feels like what we do kind of pales in comparison to the impact there. Yet I want to touch on that. I want to go. I think that part of our vision with AcuityCares was we wanted to bring something that came to us naturally, a skill set that we've been working on, and help them achieve more of their vision. And so I think, Kitty, you touched on it a minute ago, and not to go back and pick on that tough time where there was that financial thing, but maybe share a little bit about on the financial side, what does concern you, or what's hard for you? I know that hopefully now our AcuityCare, our team is helping wrap around you and giving you some comfort, but what things, especially as a nonprofit founder, just concerns you around the financial side?
Want me to start?
Yeah, Kitty, go right ahead.
The apocalypse. I won't start with that. But so my husband and I used to say that if you put our business acumen together, it would be a negative number. Like, it's just not, Melissa, you know, right? Like, numbers, what? I don't know. Decimal points, what do they mean? So I knew that about, the good thing about starting a nonprofit when you're in your late 50s, which I was, is that you know what you don't know, and you sort of don't care that you don't know those things. You know, you have to find people who know them. And so, so there are two things that have been helpful to me, two of many, but one is when this thing happened, we really did have to think about, are we going to be able to stay viable as an organization? And for us, our main mission is our payroll. Like, we have people on our payroll whose lives depend on these jobs and who we're training for other jobs. And so keeping our payroll going is really important. And I came home from a sabbatical to find out that we might not make payroll like that week. It was I don't like to even think about it. But I will say, and my husband, throughout that summer when we were just in this thing of getting things straight, he would ask me at dinner sometimes, he'd go, tell me something good that happened today. And I would always say, I know more. And that's a good thing. It didn't feel like a good thing at all. But thanks to Acuity, and thanks to my husband with a highlighter and a ruler and the rest of our team, getting knowledge about where you really are is an amazing thing. So I would say that, and that continues to be a thing. Like we all raise money, right? And when I started out, I raised money from a place of desperation, and we don't do that anymore. And well, I used to say we're desperate, we're not pitiful, but but I do think, we do something that we have to explain, and I'm really good at telling the stories, but people also want the numbers. And as we're about to build out about to means probably 2 years from now, build out our space in Clarkston. And so we're going to do a capital campaign, and we need to raise a lot more money than we've ever raised. And we have to have the numbers to show why this is important, like the impact numbers, but also, have we been good stewards of what people have already given us? And so I think knowledge is the big thing. And then just, knowing you're not in it by yourself. Like, we have Melissa has a regular call with our COO. I have a regular call with Melissa and Angie. And so just to brag on family, my third son is our board chair right now, which he's the best board chair we've ever had, I have to say.
He's good. He is good.
Yeah. But we just, to feel like I'm not the only one carrying this scary knowledge, and also when this thing happened, I know better. I knew Kenji would not kick us to the curb, but it felt like we should have been kicked to the curb because it happened on my watch. But I think to be it isn't just, we support you by giving you numbers. We support you because we believe in you and we believe in what you do, and it's a big thing. You think it's what I do, which is to tell the stories. Sometimes people can think that's a big thing, but that's just easy. Just like numbers are easy for you. Like, we work hard at it, but it's also like breathing for you. And I so love that.
And thank you for saying that, Kate. That's the reminder I want to make sure we all do remember. Sometimes this comes naturally to us. We just do it all the time. And I think we tend to discount it a little bit, the work that we do. And I think that powerful combination of when storytelling, the vision, is paired up with some good financial acumen and good stewardship, then some really magical things can happen there. But it's not easy. And I think that's something we've seen and you've helped me understand more about is that how challenging that can be for a nonprofit founder. I mean, the vision and the heart is there, but the financial stuff can be scary at times, for sure. So
I think as a founder, I just want to say, and I love that you did this with your brother and a friend. And my husband was very much a part of it, but you still, at the end of the day, you can think you're all by yourself. And it's just not true. So it's been, Acuity has, and Melissa and Kenji and others have helped me see that I'm not by myself. So.
Any other thoughts on, I mean, as you think about things that, financial things in y'all's organizations, I know fundraising is one that always comes up. It's like, oh my gosh, where are your ability to, bring in cash to go ahead and fulfill the mission? Is that the number one thing that keeps y'all up at night, or are there other things about the financials? What else is difficult? I mean, part of this is good for us to hear and to acknowledge, and just to make sure we're thinking in y'all's mindset of what are the things that keep up these founders of nonprofits that makes them concerned, because those are areas that we can be thinking about and address. What areas? Yeah, Artie, do you have?
Yeah, I think fundraising is always, money is going to be a perpetual issue for any business. We have to make sure that the cash flow is there, the operational sustainability is there. But for me specifically, what keeps me awake is how do you, what you said, Kenji, tell people that this is not charitable work, that what we are doing is not charity. It actually comes back in economics. It makes economic sense for you to support organizations which have a mission, because as you employ people, or as we put back people into entrepreneurship, they're earning money, they're hiring people, they're paying taxes. So it's a full circle. And that's what keeps me awake at night, is why do I have to do that extra push for people to realize, to break that that box or the label that people put people in. And that's what keeps me. Yeah, but if you're talking about a shout out to Acuity, I have to say that I am so grateful to William, Leah, specifically for supporting me at this time, because you not only got us into your family, but we actually raked you over coals because we went through a 3-year audit. A 3-year audit at the same time as we were transferring from one small firm to you. So poor Leah and poor Julia, poor Joy, and William for your incredible support. Yeah, it was a great learning experience. But
sometimes, right? Yeah, learning comes with some hardships along the way.
Exactly.
Right?
It was a great.
It always does, yeah.
Just piggyback off of what you two both said, because I fully agree with everything you said. But my mother was an accountant. So in our household, accounting has always been a superpower. That's all I wanted to say. So much so that I have a degree in mathematics.
There you go. Oh, perfect. We've got about 10 minutes left. I've got a few more questions. I mean, I've got questions here, but I also want to make sure if y'all have questions for any of these incredible folks while we're here. I mean, I think that's part of what joy is, of when we have them with us here in the room. If there are anything, stories or things you'd like to ask, please do. Just let me know. Raise a hand and shout out. Anyone's got one, but I'll keep going. But I'll plant that in your seeds. You've got actually 11 minutes left to think of really good questions if you have these. But and I think you gave us some nuggets there about places that we can be thinking about specifically to help y'all. And I think I had maybe put in 2 things in there. Like, are there anything specifically accounting, financial, that you can think of that are like, gosh, I would love to get more of this, or I need more help with that? You can tell us that. Or what is the message, the message we can carry out in the world about your organization? I think sometimes we don't always feel like the best storytellers. It's kind of an ask back. I mean, your ask back to us. Like, what is it that we can be doing to help support you better? And it could be in very specific terms of accounting. It could be more in general of just like, hey, we'd love to get connected to certain communities you are plugged in. We'd love you just to be a voice Anything you'd share with us on that where we can help serve better? Yeah, please.
So you are our partners, and you are our stewards, you are ambassadors, and you have networks. And your networks have more networks. The reason I got connected to Kenji, in honesty, is because of Rochelle, right?
My wife, Kenny knows her too. There's my secret superpower, is my wife, exactly.
She is a superpower. So Rochelle knew Kenji, I knew Rochelle, and I'm here meeting so many of you. So that is not an advantage that many of our folks that we work with have. That is the social capital that each one of us carries here because we don't have a disability. So my ask from all of you, two asks, can I make two asks?
Absolutely, please.
Yeah. In everything that you do, anything that you do, please think of entrepreneurs with disability, think of people with disabilities and how you can include us. And I say us because I too have been identified with a cognitive issue, but never mind that. But yes, and thank you, Kitty. Absolutely. So my ask is that if you want to partner with us, please partner with us. We are looking for organizations, people like you, to come in and support more entrepreneurs, more small businesses who are run by founders with disabilities. And open your mind to possibilities so that you can help support more people. That's all. That's my biggest ask from everybody here. I'm also in a fundraising mode. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm in a great fundraising mode, and my mentor has told me that everywhere I go, I have to ask. So I'm going to make an ask. If you can spend $5 on coffee, please go to synergieswork.org, become a sustainable member at $5 also. I'd really appreciate it.
Great ask, Artie. I love that.
Yeah. I love that because I think we always need reminded. I'm such there's a call to action. What is that? I don't know. I just like talking. Yeah. So actually, if you can afford 2 cups of coffee.
That's true. Y'all can. I've seen you guys. Y'all have been guzzling coffee.
It's called the Cortado Club, named after my favorite drink, which is fun. Melissa, I want you to telepathically tell me what I should ask for, but I'm going to say something very, very specific.
Sure.
We are still a fairly small organization. We have yet to have an internal audit. You said audit. We can't afford an internal audit. And if you know anybody who does those less expensively than the going rate, please let us know. Yeah,
that's a great ask. I should ask for. That's a great ask from this crew.
Yes.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of folks who do audits. And they would be privileged to work with any of these folks, and they should absolutely give a huge discount.
Benji, you never told me. You never tried to anybody. I reached out to you.
I gave you 3 names. I was hoping they would do a better job. I think I gave you 3 of them, and they did not do as good of a job as I would have hoped. But that's a very good specific ask there. But yeah, JC, what about you? How can we help?
You can afford 3 cups of coffee. You can learn more about our organization at thecodehouse.org. In addition to, of course, fundraising, we're always looking for workshop facilitators and workshop hosts. We're looking for someone to lead a financial literacy workshop in the spring for our Codehouse Scholars. So if that's something that you would be interested in, or you have any ideas for future potential workshops, we're always looking for some volunteers to get in front of our students. I'll put that out there. But more than anything, especially in the last year or so, we have seen a shift in some of the corporate relationships that we've had as a nonprofit, where a lot of the teams that were set up to support us have been disappearing or getting smaller or downsizing, right? And we know that's because of effects of the pandemic. There are other shifts that happen, other priority shift in corporate America. I think the most important thing that you can do is keep AcuityCares running. we nonprofits, we need organizations like you, partners like you, in order to sustain ourselves. Accounting is definitely, like we said, the superpower that keeps all businesses running so that I can focus on my job, which is educating our students, right? I cannot do my job if we don't have a team like Elise and Acuity on our side. Right. So please continue this program. I think we have some amazing nonprofits here on the stage, but for these three, there are so many more that aren't here. Nonprofits that are supporting other groups like our veterans or communities that were affected because of the pandemic. I am excited to see AcuityCares joining and partnering with more institutions. But knowing that you all are here today and dedicated to this program, it means the world to me and nonprofits everywhere. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, those are great asks, y'all. And again, if anyone's got questions, let me know. I do want to mention, in terms of asks and connections we talked about, it made me think of another one of our AcuityCares clients. You remember from a few years ago, good old Joey Womack from Goody Nation, who's a huge favorite of ours. And at AcuityCon, when he came and spoke, he made a connection with one of our awesome tech partners who are here. And many of y'all are here in the room. And I don't know if the Bill folks are still here, but there was a great connection made with Joey. He ended up in some national advertising and media for them, got some funding from the folks at Bill, was on billboards out in the Bay Area and all that. And all that came because he was here in the room. So we didn't plan that. But to your point about that social capital, there's more of that we have than we realize. And especially in a time like this, when I look around the room, we have people from all over the world who've come to be here and folks who are all over the world online. There are awesome, awesome ways to connect with these folks. So please do that. All right. Anyone got? Matthew doesn't have a question? Oh, Matthew's got a question. Are you monitoring online? I'll also say, Artie, when you and I have talked before, this made me think of something JC just said, when you're with your workshop, that is a place I think we've talked about some of our folks helping. Because I know you're looking for help also with workshops for some of your entrepreneurs. Is that correct?
We have gone ahead and recruited volunteers. So shout out to William. He's actually worked with my team. We have created a micro-learning session on financial literacy for small business owners with disabilities. And thank you so much, William, for that. I am putting it out and open. I'm going to invite you to one of our sessions with our cohorts to talk about, again, small business financial learning. So, yeah, I am shameless in asking for support, and will do so again.
I'd change that. I'd call you bold instead of shameless. I love that. I love the boldness of that. So.
And since I have the mic and we have 2 minutes, I want all of you to mark your calendars for April 24th. We do an amazing award night gala here in Atlanta, where we get nationally entrepreneurs with disabilities who are doing some amazing work, innovative work, from in technology down to what I shared, soap making. And we bring in the business community, we bring in the VCs, we bring in people from who are in power, people like you who have a lot of social capital, to come and see for yourself what amazing work that you have missed till now. And it's a black tie event, all expenses paid, an evening that you'll really enjoy. And Rochelle has been an amazing part of that for us.
She is, my wife has said, and I've watched her come home from that event, the first time she came home from it, and we're often running around doing a bunch of different things in our busy lives. And she came home and was just beaming. I can tell, you can tell when a loved one is they've got something to tell you. And she just came home beaming, saying, I just went to the most impactful event I've ever been to. She's like, I am so filled with joy after being there in that environment. So it is an amazing opportunity. And yes, we'll make sure we get an Acuity crew there for the event in April. So, team members, any last questions? Otherwise,
online they say they're not crying.
They're not crying? Oh, yeah, they're not crying. Yeah, Sherry, do you have a
The
question?
grandmas and the moms and the dads.
Oh, yeah, tissues over here.
They're not crying.
Looks like Sherry may have one. Do you have one before we wrap up?
Thought I'm a refugee.
Oh.
So I made it here, and with all the company I worked at, I feel so thankful.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm so glad. That's beautiful. Y'all, what a beautiful, perfect way for us to wrap up and close AcuityCon. Again, you can see why this session with our AcuityCares folks is always my favorite, because the impact that they are making in the world is just unbelievable. And it's such a privilege for all of us to play a part in that, to help magnify that impact. So please give a huge hand of thanks to all of our folks here, Artie, Kitty, and JC. Thanks, y'all. All right. And that wraps AcuityCon number 6, 2024. We will see y'all next year for number 7.